With Zombieland Double Tap coming out tomorrow, of course, I wanted to revisit the original Zombieland, which has a 7.6 on IMDb. That's crazy to me. A horror zombie comedy coming in at a freaking 7.6. I know Shaun of the Dead has a 7.9, but I just didn't realize this movie was that loved. That is a really, really high rating. Now, I haven't seen this movie since theaters. The zombie comedy subgenre for me is, you know, it's overdone. Ever since Shaun of the Dead, most zombie movies wanted to go in the comedy route, and I saw a freaking plethora of them. So many of them. And I've really enjoyed a lot of them. There's been, I could name tons. Undead, Dead and Breakfast, Dance of the Dead, Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, Zombies of Mass Destruction. Like, I've seen a ton of these fucking things. And I really enjoy, you know, all those that I just mentioned. Now, there are films that I've seen once or twice because these are not the kinds of films that I want to revisit. Comedy is my least watched genre of film. The only ones I really ever watched more than once or twice were like nostalgia picks from the 80s and 90s. So it's even horror comedy, I rarely revisit. Now, with the channel, I don't revisit absolutely anything unless it's like one viewing for the channel. Like if I'd seen it before, then I'll watch it for the channel and that's it. I'm not coming back to it for any reason because I'm always watching stuff for the channel and the channel alone. I never take a break to go, you know, I'm just fuck it. Like I'm just going to rewatch Halloween tonight. Like I haven't watched one single film that wasn't for the channel since I started it 2 years ago. Not one. That's crazy. But it's true. Every time I sit down to watch a film, I'm like, yeah, but can I talk about that on the channel? Should I watch that for the channel? Unless it's like a drama or something, you know what I mean? But like outside, like in horror, I just don't do it. I'm just like, I would love to watch a Friday the 13th right now, but I already covered that on the channel, so I'm just not going to do it. Like, I want to put out more content. I know people love when they get the notifications, and so there you go. But anyway, so I rewatched this, having not seen it since theaters, and man, oh man, I have a lot. Well, yeah, I have a decent amount to say about this. Number one is like, the film really has this like extremely fast pace, almost like it's trying to appeal to an ADHD generation. So much so that I actually feel like it's to its detriment. For myself, now it's a 7.6. People love this fucking movie. So anything I say negative against it is immediately going to be like, fuck this guy. I don't love this movie. I mean, are there some fun characters? Are there some fun things in it? Are there? Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I've seen zombie comedies that I like better, for sure. But there are some fun things in here. I love Woody Harrelson. I think Emma Stone is a goddess. You know, I adore her. So, good things there, for sure. And there's some good jokes. But everything's so short-lived in this. Like, the pacing, when I really sat back towards the end and was like, what has actually happened? What has actually... It's just one person meets another person, then those two people meet two people. Those people betray them and go away. Those people meet back up. They go to a house. Then those people betray them again. And then they go to an amusement park and the movie's over. It is so fucking fast. Like, nothing happens in this movie. It was weird to look back and be like, what exactly happened in this movie? Nothing. Nothing, really. Now, I feel like the Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse title, even though he's not a scout, is a little more apt of a description here because this is really more of a guide to the zombie apocalypse. This is the rules of how to survive Zombieland, right? And so he's going through his rules. And the first one is cardio, no fatties. And I like that when they go into the grocery store looking for Twinkies, everyone who comes around the corners are fat. It's like the fatties went first. They couldn't outrun the zombies because in this, they're fast zombies. So you really would have to be able to be quick. You would really have to be able to have agility and, you know, be able to run for long distances and have stamina, and you know, that it would literally be survival of the fittest. Now, Jesse Eisenberg doesn't really, you know, scream being in shape. This is a twig. This is a little twig, but I mean, runners are skinny, just like this kid. So he could have ran track for all we know. But when we see him in his little flashbacks, all he does is sit in front of the TV and play video games, and he gets no exercise at all. So all of a sudden he has cardio. I don't know. That doesn't really make sense. And now, I want, of course, if you've watched my channel enough, you know I pick apart. I got so much shit for my Halloween 2 video, the 1981 one, not the freaking Rob Zombie one. I got so much shit for that video because I was like, I really like this movie. And then I just sat there and I nitpicked the shit out of it. That's what I do. That's the fun of making videos. So let me tell you, it's a zombie comedy. I get that I'm not supposed to take anything seriously at all in the movie, but fuck do I have a lot to complain about the logic behind the film. There's so many sequences, especially at the end. It's at the end is where they just have like the lion's share of problems with like, what? Why would someone do that? Why does this happen? What? That is... It's almost insulting. As I said, it's supposed to be a comedy. It's not supposed to, but the film, I don't know. The film almost presents itself like it's serious, but at the same time doesn't. So I'm not really sure ever how to approach the film. And I guess people always think that I don't like silly films. They're like, oh, Jason doesn't like when films are dumb and silly. Bullshit. There's plenty of ridiculously dumb movies that I love. Movies that make no sense at all. But it's usually because the movie is very honest and upfront about how fucking stupid it is. And this movie, I don't know, it kind of like tries to ride the line of serious and goofy at the same time. Like you've got Tallahassee's backstory about his kid and how emotionally he is about that. And you've got all these, oh, the pen's back. Somebody asked for the pen to come back because I'm a pretentious douchebag for holding one. There it is, man. You got your pen back. I go to make notes. And yeah, there it is. Anyway. But yeah, there are sequences in this where you're like, oh, I'm supposed to feel something here. I'm supposed to have sympathy for these characters, which makes me go into a serious frame of mind. And in doing so, then I come out of that and I'm presented with something that's so asinine that I'm like, oh wait, okay, now I got to get back in the mindset of this is a dumb movie that's not taking itself seriously and I'm supposed to just have fun. Oh wait, they're crying again. Like, I guess that's where I usually struggle. And yeah, okay, anyway. All right. The second rule is a double tap, which of course is the title of the second film, which I like. We find out that a contaminated hamburger is what started the zombie apocalypse. How he would know that, I don't know. I don't know if that was like reports on the news. It seemed like it just kind of came out of nowhere. Like his hot neighbor came over who's played by Amber Heard. She comes over and then she wakes up and she's sick and there's that. So as I said, I don't know what life was like after that, if there was like an outbreak. But with fast zombies, shit would move, man. With slow zombies, the world would never get taken over. But with fast ones, an entire continent could easily be taken over. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't think people realize, like, there's so much space in between cities. Like, there's really densely populated areas. And then outside of those populated areas, there's country and there's desert. And there, like, if, let's say the zombie apocalypse, like, started in Los Angeles, right? Well, then, in order for it to spread to Northern California, Arizona, Nevada, Oregon, there's such long stretches of area. I guess people would be bit. It would depend on how fast things you know, transferred over. Like if you got bit and then changed into a zombie in like a minute, there's no way. What are they, running through the desert to Arizona for like days and days? I mean, a human body can only move so fast. I don't give a shit how fucking fast you are, and I don't care if you have stamina all day and all night. How are you gonna run across the desert? Okay, I'm way overthinking zombie movies, but it's just, even with fast zombies, and as I said, with slow zombies, it would never even leave a small city, a small town. It's so dumb. They never actually show how these things spread because it wouldn't. All right, that all being said, let's move on. I say this in almost every zombie, although I think I went a little more above and beyond on this one because just, I don't know, just annoys me. All right. And then you got Tallahassee, who is the kind of guy that would just thrive in a zombie apocalypse. You know, he just loves it. He's good at it. And I like when he finds the bag in the Hummer and he's just like, thank God for rednecks. There'd be a whole lot more rednecks. In fact, they don't run into any living people in this movie besides Bill Murray and them four. And that's it. Those are the only interactions they have with literally anyone else. Everybody else is a zombie. No one else is surviving. Just these five assholes. Come on now. But as I said, don't take it seriously, but then do take it seriously, and then don't. I don't know. No one ever has any name in this movie except for Emma Stone's character whispers her name into his ear, so we get hers. And I like how Tallahassee's first question is, when's the last time you got fucked? That's so a me kind of conversation. Somehow, if you ever talk to me, no matter what, I'm going to lead the question to sex, especially if you're female and I'm interested in you, obviously. But in any context, I'm always somehow going to bring up sex. That's just like my fucking go-to discussion because I guess that's the thing I'm most interested in. I don't know. But I just thought that was funny. And I like that Emma Stone's character here, she actually checks the shotgun for ammo in the gun before she pulls the scam on these guys. So I was like, oh, okay. Like, she turns it on them and then they go, dumb shit, you think I'd really give you a loaded gun? She actually checks to see. And at that moment, I feel like they would know something was up. Like in that moment when she went to check, she'd be like, something's not right here. Why is she checking to see if there's ammo? I mean, I guess you could argue she doesn't want to pull the trigger, find out there's no ammo, which pulling the trigger is going to be as hard as humanly possible. And what are the odds they just so happen to come across two people? None of them have seen anybody else in the entire film or for a long period of time. We don't even know how long the zombie apocalypse has been. But they just so happen, and we don't know how fast the gestation period is. We don't know if you're bit and turned instantly because no one's ever bit in this movie. And Bill Murray is killed, but he doesn't come back. So it's not a Walking Dead scenario where everyone's already infected. Although, maybe in the sequel that will happen. I don't know. I didn't watch the trailer, so maybe that's in there for all I know. I do like when he finds the Hummer and their hands are still up on the wheel. Oh, that was pretty funny. But then he takes the guns in the back because, I mean, in Zombieland, I would assume one of the rules should be don't waste ammo. It's a valuable resource, and there's only so much of it. So he takes an Uzi and then just starts firing it into the sky. Yeah, okay. That's definitely not going to make you the zombie killer of the week. I guess, yeah, there you go. You have one woman who drops a piano on people. I mean, I guess that's an interaction with one person, but we never even see him interact with her. Like, was he there for that? Did he see that from across the road? Excuse me. Man, I sneezed once into my mic and I think I broke people's eardrums. I gotta, like, freaking delete that video or something. And let's see. The girls take advantage of them twice. They actually fall for it twice. Although the second one, I mean, I don't know. At that point, you would think they would have been good, but I don't know. And okay, so they do the ring scam. Now, the ring scam to me, really brings up this whole idea of fake jewelry versus real jewelry. Now, I'm in the minority on a lot of the things that I think most of the time when I talk to people. But I just don't understand. Like, I'll never understand this. If something looks exactly the same, then who cares how much it costs? Who cares if it's real or not? Like, if you need a microscope to be able, or like something to magnify it that close to be able to tell if it's a fake diamond or a real diamond, or if it's fake gold or it's real gold, if you need some kind of freaking analysis of it's a real Rolex or it isn't, who gives a fuck? Go give me the $10 thing. What's the difference? I don't get that. I don't understand why we put such a high value on things because people say they're high valued. Like, if this thing looks exactly like this thing, if I can buy a freaking engagement ring that looks exactly like this one that's $20,000 and this one's $50, and it takes, you know, an expert to be like, that's the fake one, I think. Hold on. Yeah, there it is. Who fucking cares? The $50 one. You really need people dying to procure these things for you? And I don't get that shit. So anyways, that's what that scene made me think of when I was watching. It's like, if they got those fucking rings for $30 and they look exactly like a $30,000 ring, then who cares? Just use that one anyway. The Bill Murray thing, that's supposed to be a surprise, right? I mean, that wasn't in a trailer, that wasn't anything. But here's another thing. Bill Murray's cameo in this is like a minute. It's nothing. It's so short-lived, and then they kill him, and it's not even a big deal. It's like, oh no, I'm sorry, and he just lies down, and then he just dies, and they're like, okay, and they wrap him up in a thing, and then they just throw him over, and they're done with it, and they move on. Like, it's so fucking fast. There's nothing. Oh, I don't know, man. I was not enjoying this movie anywhere near as much as people seem to. I was very lukewarm on this movie, on this rewatch, I have to say. So, why does everything have electricity? Bill Murray's house has electricity. The theme park, when they turn every ride on, there's still electricity. Why is there still electricity in the zombie apocalypse? I mean, I don't know any movie, I don't know any television series that the power is still on in the zombie apocalypse. None. Zero. This is the only one I think I've ever seen where it's just on for no reason. Power's just running. Sure. Why not? How long has this fucking zombie apocalypse been going? A day? A week? He seems to have been at this a while to write 30 plus freaking rules. I don't even know. I don't know. But I mean, it can't be that long. It can't be that long, because if you look at if Emma Roberts and Abigail Breslin's characters, they look almost identical in age, and Abigail is like 12 in this movie, and you age very fast at that age. So it couldn't have been more than a year, but the power would not be on. After a very short amount of time of people not being at the electrical plants and all that stuff, the power would not be on. So anyway, or am I wrong? Correct me if I'm wrong. How long would the power stay on for if people at the plants just stopped working and fled? How long? I know nuclear reactors would start melting down, and that would be the real problem that we would face. But, you know, outside of the Fear the Walking Dead season 5 or 4 or 5, I think it was last season. No, I think it might have been this season. But that's the only one I think I've ever seen actually address that. Ever. So, anyway. Yeah, what was Bill Murray's plan here? He's going to walk up on somebody who, in the zombie apocalypse, dressed in zombie makeup and get himself shot. I guess that's the joke, and he's like, I was never a good practical joker. It's like, yeah, you don't want to come up and act like a zombie when people have guns next to them, and they are some of the only survivors in the world. They survived for a reason, Bill. They ask him if he has any regrets, and he says Garfield. That was kind of funny. Although, I think he makes a perfect Garfield. And I thought it was funny to see Jesse Eisenberg talk about Facebook in here. And so the whole amusement park thing is just, this is where all my problems pretty much lie in the movie with the logic of it. They go to the amusement park. A, the power's on. Okay, sure, whatever. Number two, did they not think that was going to, like, tell zombies they were there? Like, zombies were not going to see and hear the loud light, or the loud lights, yes. The lights are loud, Jason. The loud noises and the lights. Really? Like, they didn't think zombies would be there in like 2 seconds? And, okay, who's controlling the rides? When they get on the rides, who the fuck is pressing the buttons for them to go and then to stop? Because there has to be, you think those people that work at those fucking amusement parks are just there for looks? Like, they have to start the ride and stop the ride. Like, how'd they get that ride to stop? Because they see the zombies coming and then all of a sudden they're just off the ride. It just stopped by itself, conveniently at the time you needed it to. And then the same thing with, like, when they get on that big ride that goes up and down. And for some reason, that ride only, like, shoots up and then just slowly comes down and then shoots back up and then slowly... That's not how that ride works. That ride goes to the top and then drops. They did the ride exactly the opposite. It might shoot to the top, but it's also going to drop. And the fact that it just keeps going and then they shoot the box and that's when it stops up at top, it makes no sense. And then the freaking one that Tallahassee gets on in the roller coaster, yet again, it's just going. It stops for a second and then just goes. I know. I'm freaking being an asshole here. And people are like, oh my God, I can't believe this guy is even thinking about this shit. It's stupid. It's stupid. They sit there and I'm like, that wouldn't happen. This is so fucking dumb. But, okay, let's set aside that stuff. The humor in the movie really just didn't work for me. So I guess maybe if the humor was working, are there a couple funny lines? Sure. Do I love Woody Harrelson? Yes. Do I have a major crush on Emma Stone? Yes. That's not enough. There are fun things, yes. But for the most part, I thought it was extremely, like, every idea was cut short of actually fleshing itself out to be something fun. And I found myself just going, oh, that could have been fun, but really just didn't go anywhere. Oh, that could have been, I guess that's over now. Oh, movie's over. Okay, what? Okay, anyway. Why did they... Then they jump into before they get up on that ride, they jump into a Hummer. A Hummer, okay, an H2 Hummer. And they get into it, and zombies are on the car, and they decide to jump out of the car and let the Hummer go out into the water. Why? Why? You had guns? Drive, hit the brakes, throw them off, drive the car, jump out of the... That scene actually angered me in the moment. I was like, you're fucking kidding me. Why would you jump out of a Hummer to then surround yourself by thousands of zombies outside of a car? Drive the thing around for a while. The zombies weren't... Like, one broke the window. Fucking cares. You're better in the car. That made zero sense to me, and it pissed me off. I did like the scene where Eisenberg tries to get on the bike and the motorcycle and drive off, and he's trying to have his cool moment, and then he just wrecks it immediately. That was pretty funny. That would be me. I have no idea how to drive a motorcycle. None. Never been on one. I think that would surprise some people, but I have never been. How many shells and bullets do these chicks have in their guns? Just, they fire unlimited ammo. Now, as a fan of action movies, I'm looking to, I'm willing to look past something like that, but yeah, all right. And then Tallahassee kills freaking like 600 zombies outside of this thing with like 5 clips in a handgun. Sure. I thought he was going to die in that sequence and when I first saw the movie, and then when they were all dead, I was like, okay, sure, that's possible. I guess. I mean, if you're that good, you might as well just clear out the whole fucking city. But, yeah, anyway. I know a lot of people are probably disappointed in me because this is a loved movie, and when I posted about this, so many people were like, oh my god, this movie's amazing. I don't think it's that great. I just don't. So I'm already hearing people who loved the first one are not really liking the second one. Oh man. Maybe I'll like it more. Maybe I'll get in there and be like, what are you talking about? This is the good one. So maybe I'll be in the minority, but I'm real nervous about the second one. We'll see. Anyway, guys, adios.